with the gulls and the gray of the dawn. Puts a match to the wick, keeps the lantern on. Tides write their stories in foam at his feet. He reads them in silence where ocean winds meet. I'm the keeper of the quiet light on the loneliest cliff by the coldest tide. When the world forgets this edge of night, I stay, and the ships pass by. I stay, and the ships pass by. His supper is bread and a cup stained with tea, a chair by the window that stares out to sea. He hums to the rhythm of waves on the stone, each crash a reminder he's never alone. Once there was laughter that danced up these stairs, boots in the hallway, a shawl on the chair. Now only echoes and salt in the air, yet still he is watching, still he is there. I stay, and the ships pass by. I stay, and the ships pass by. Masts like crosses sleep in the tide, gulls draw circles over hulls turned wide. Ropes hang heavy, salt in every strand, old stone shining, cold as a praying hand. Harbor at the gray dawn, breathing in the hush. Smoke from little chimneys rises with the brush of oars against the water, boots upon the planks. Harbor at the gray dawn, we forget, we give our thanks. Lanterns fading, amber into pale, names on sterns tell a worn out tale. Jonah, Mary, faded gilded paint. Men once swore here, stronger than a saint. Harbor at the gray dawn, breathing in the hush. Smoke from little chimneys rises with the brush of oars against the water and boots upon the planks. Harbor at the gray dawn, we forget, we give our thanks. Hear the creak of timber, old bones in the deep. All the vows and rumors this basin had to keep. Children now go inland, chasing flatter seas. Still the harbor waits here, quiet on its knees.
Silver path across the bay, soft and slow it finds the shore. Bare feet in the rippled sand, I've walked this line before. Mother's shawl around my arms, salt and heather in the air. Her old song in half-closed eyes, her hand resting in my hair. Moonlight on the water, calling me home, calling me home. Soft as my mother's laughter, bright as the days I've outgrown. Moonlight on the water, where every small wave knows my name. I follow the shining border back to the child I became. Little boat of painted wood, drifting where the tide is kind. Pebbles tucked into my dress, secret treasures I would hide. Father's voice across the dark, low and sure, a steady guide. Lantern swinging by his knee, star and flame on either side. Years went on like turning tides. Houses changed and faces thinned. Still this cove remembers me like a long forgotten kin. I close my eyes and let it be. The night I'm 10 years old again. Down by the lane where the blackberries grow, Mammy hung sheets in a row. She'd hum on the breeze, not a word out of place, just vowels and traces of grace. I'd chase the cloth shadows, bare feet in the dew. She'd spin the old air soft and true. Said songs are like swallows, they'll visit then go, but some find a roof in your bones. Oh, the song the wind remembers, it finds me again, carrying verses I can't quite finish, faces and fields, every refrain. When I close my eyes in the quiet, I hear that old tune drifting. All the lives I've loved are singing in the songs carried home by the wind. Years turned the lane into tar and white lines. Neighbors moved on with the times, but once in a while from an upstairs room, a child hums that half-forgot tune. I leave my window open wide, let the chorus slip inside, let it braid our borrowed days with an echo of her name. Oh, the song the wind remembers, it finds me again, carrying verses I can't quite finish, faces and fields, every refrain. When I close my eyes in the quiet, I hear that old tune drifting. All the lives I've loved are singing in the songs carried home by the wind. Hush now, the kettle, the night drawing in. There's a familiar song on the wind. Down by the stones where the tide first reaches, I trace old runes in the silver sand. Salt in my lips and a song half remembered drifts like a cloud through my open hand. The sea that keeps our names calls them in the foam. Voices in the turning waves guide me home, guide me home. Every sigh along the shore sounds like you again. The sea that keeps the doorway, smells of smoke and the summer rain. I hear you laugh in the hull of the fishing boats as they lean and answer the swell again. The sea that keeps our names calls them in the foam. Voices in the turning waves guide me home. Tell me, do you walk where the moonlight falls below? Do you hear me speak when the currents shift and glow? I leave my words with the shells and driftwood. You send them back as a quiet refrain. The sea, da 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 da. The sea, da 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 da. Guide me home. She walks where the shoreline remembers her name. Each footprint a promise, the tide answers the same. Salt on her lashes, wind braiding her hair, old songs in the seagulls, soft prayers in the air. In the harbor of her heart, every wave knows where to go, rolling in, then drifting out, carrying the weight she used to hold. She lets the water take her sorrow, piece by piece it pulls apart, till she rests in quiet rhythm in the harbor of her heart. She leans on a warm stone her father once knew. He taught her the shoreline could listen her through. His story still lingers like foam on the sand. She feels every heartbreak wash out of her hands. In the harbor of her heart, every wave knows where to go, rolling in, then drifting out, carrying the weight she used to hold. She lets the water take her sorrow, piece by piece it pulls apart, till she rests in quiet rhythm in the harbor of her heart. When the storm clouds gather and can hear that patient breathing like a cradle made of stars. Every crest and every fall whispers, you're not alone.
Old man sitting by the harbor wall, hands like driftwood, eyes like foam, says, boy, I've left and I've returned, but this gray water stayed my home. Oh, the sea that knows my name took my laughter, held my pain. Every year it looks the same, faithful watcher, never tame. He points out where his father sailed in a painted boat of peeling green. Storm took half the catch that night, but the tide brought him back to me. Oh, the sea that knows my name took my laughter, held my pain. Every year it looks the same, faithful watcher, never tame. Lovers carved in the sand one spring, their fragile future in a ring. Waves rolled over every line, yet their children play there, chasing time. Now I sit where the old man sat, his coat hangs quiet on my chair. I speak aloud into the wind, the sea keeps every word I share. Oh, the sea that knows my name took my laughter, held my pain. Every year it looks the same, faithful watcher, never tame. I was 16 with borrowed boots, salt on my lips, boat barely holding its breath, rope burns fresh on my wrists. Your laugh, old morn, roll like thunder over the gray-green foam. You said, boy, the sea will raise you, and take what it's owed. Oh, the nets we cast in the dark before the dawn. Thought the tide would always love us, thought the wind would carry on. Now my hands remember what my eyes can hardly see. I was young, and the sea was young with me. We chased the silver under clouds that never broke, shared one crust of bread between us, shared the same old joke. You sang of kings and fallen stones, of wars I never knew. I only watched the water and dreamed it all was true. I let my brother take the helm when winter turned us white. He never brought that vessel back from that black-tongued night. Still I sit where the harbor ends, talk low to the tide. Carry him gentle, I whisper, same way you carried my pride. Now these boards beneath my boots know every weight I've been. Lines on my face run deeper than the river feeds the sea. Children point at the distant waves like I once pointed to. I smile and say she's an honest friend if you're honest through. Moran's song fades with the gulls, day thins to a seam. I close my eyes on the harbor light, let the water keep my dreams. You laid your coat on the cold gray stone, salt on your hair, the day almost gone. Boats like black stitches on the pale green tide. You said, stay a while, then nothing, just sky. Shared silence by the sea, you breathing there beside me. Waves telling what we can't speak, soft and slow, their answers. Shared silence by the sea, I heard your heart, you heard mine, and all the words we left behind. Shared silence by the sea. A gull drew circles over distant phone. Your hand found mine like it knew the road home. I watched your eyes chase the last bright line, where the sun slipped down and left us behind. Shared silence by the sea, you breathing there beside me, waves telling what we can't speak, soft and slow they're answering. Shared silence by the sea, I heard your heart, you heard mine, in all the words we left behind. No vow, no promise spoken, just shoulders touching, fingers woven, seaweed swayed like parish candles, trembling, steady in the swell. If anyone asked what passed that night, I'd point out there, where the quiet water breathes, and say we answered there.
By the crooked stone wall at the end of the lane, you waved me away in the gray autumn rain. Said right when you can, with your hand on my sleeve, then turned on your heel, too proud to believe. All of these letters by the hearth in a twine tight stack, your name on the front, my heart in the back. Ink has grown pale, but the longing stays clear. Pages you never answered are all that keep you here. I sat by the window as the winter came on. The kettle sang low while the daylight was gone. I counted the days by the frost on the glass. Each creak of the gate thought you'd come at last. I told you of lambs in the hilltop snow, of the well running dry and the barley that won't grow. I wrote of the dance and the songs that you missed, folded my courage in every last twist. slower past our old stone gate. He nods at my door, saying nothing today. Still I strike up the fire when the evenings turn cold, and trace every word that I dare to have told. On the cliff above the water, your coat around my shoulders, salt on my lips, your hands still shaking from the cold. You traced our names in the sand between the stones, said, "This is where I'll always bring you home." By the turning tide, where you promised me your heart, swore the waves could never wash what we whispered in the dark. If the world should bend or break, if the sky comes falling down by the sea, that's where our vows are bound. Boats like lanterns in the distance, gulls crying over foam. You spoke of winters and a little house below the road. Said, if I ever lose my way, follow the singing of the crows, follow the line where water kisses stone. By the turning tide, where you promised me your heart, swore the waves could never wash what we whispered in the dark. Years have taken color from the sweater that you wore. Your letters sleep in boxes underneath the bedroom floor. But when the wind turns briny and the grass lies flat and low, I walk back to that headland just to hear your promise roll. Ba-da-da, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. On a quiet hill at dawning, mist is folded round my feet. Every breath a little offering, rising where the sky and heather meet. Hands together, fingers trembling, name the ones I love one by one. Lay them in the hands of mercy under pale and waking sun. This is my prayer on the quiet hill, soft as the light on the water still. Carry my hope where I cannot see, ancient and gentle, stay here with me. In the hush between the church bells, when the fields forget to sing, all the days I never understood settle like a small bird on my wing. I have walked through years of shadow, I have learned to fold my fear away. Leave it in the woven grasses, hear the silence answer when I pray. If my words fall short and fragile, let my longing speak instead. Every tear upon the clover be a blessing softly said. I am only breath and waiting, only open hands and will keep a watch beside my wandering. Guard my loved ones, hold them still. Mist on the tide, still and pale, first gulls turning in the air. Footprints fresh in the waking sand, cool waves brushing at my prayer. Morning by the quiet shore, where the wind carries all I ask for. Every breath is small amen as the sea says it back again. Morning by the quiet shore. Hands folded loose, heart held wide, soft words falling with the foam. Names like pebbles on my tongue, laid at the edge of your If you are near in the hush between waves, hear how my longing just leans into grace. I leave my fear where the water can take all that I cannot say. Ooh.
I was 16 with borrowed boots, salt on my lips, boat barely holding its breath, rope burns fresh on my wrists. Your laugh, old Morin, rolled like thunder over the gray-green foam. You said, boy, the sea will raise you, then take what it's owed. Oh, the nets we cast in the dark before the dawn. Thought the tide would always love us, thought the wind would carry on. Now my hands remember what my eyes can hardly see. I was young, and the sea was young with me. We chased the silver under clouds that never broke, shared one crust of bread between us, shared the same old joke. You sang of kings and fallen stones, of wars I never knew. I only watched the water and dreamed it all was true. I let my brother take the helm when winter turned us white. He never brought that vessel back from that black-tongued night. Still I sit where the harbor ends, talk low to the tide. Carry him gentle, I whisper, same way you carried my pride. Now these boards beneath my boots know every weight I've been. Lines on my face run deeper than the river feeds the sea. Children point at the distant waves like I once pointed to. I smile and say, she's an honest friend if you're honest through. Oh, Morin's song fades with the gulls, day thins to a seam. I close my eyes on the harbor light, let the water keep my dream.
First snow on the heather, smoke curling from the thatch, your footprint in the frozen mud, the last thing I could catch. I stitched your name in linen by the window facing north, counting geese along the sky as the year turned back and forth. I wade through every turning, through blossom Spring woke in the hillside, lambs crying in the dew. I set a bowl and poured a cup at the table made for two. Summer burned the moorland, red rowan berries gleamed. I danced alone at festival fires with your laughter in my dreams. Autumn winds at the window pane brush my hair like a long-lost friend. I whisper all the words unsent to the road that never ends. Leaves gather at the doorstep like letters come to stay. I sweep them into little piles, and still I cannot sweep you away. First snow on the heather, hearth embers glowing low. I leave the latch unfastened for the footsteps in the snow. By the light of the peat fire, I'm bending my pen, your name in the margin again and again. The ink blots like raindrops on old kitchen stone as I write you a harbor from all its unknown. Letters over water, pages on the tide, carried by the currents where I cannot write. Every folded promise sealed with trembling hand, until your shadow finds me back on this green land. The rooster is calling, the dawn's coming pale. Your last crumpled envelope, soft as a sail. You wrote of the factories and smoke in your hair. I answered with meadows and washing hung there. Letters over water, pages on the tide, carried by the currents where I can't write. Every folded promise sealed with trembling hand, until your shadow finds me back on this green land. the seasons with chalk on the wall. Your brothers grow taller, your chair stays too small. I tuck your old jumper under my chin and hum you the verses I'll sing when you're in. Will you know this doorway, fresh paint, same stone? Will you know these hands of mine, older yet your own? If a storm should claim you far from this cold shore, I'll keep sending letters till they float to her door. Morning mist on the window, steam from the kettle curls in the air. Your chair by the fire stays waiting, soft woven throws still there. You write from a harbor town, salt on the paper creases and folds. Say the gulls steal your supper, but never the hope you hold. Across the quiet sea, where the stars learn your name, my heart keeps a place at the table. Cup turned down, still the same. Years can bend the road, miles can rise like a hill between. But this small, quiet love stays bright in the spaces unseen. I walk where the hedgerows lean, foxglove and clover nod as I pass. Count every step to the mailbox. Pray for your careful hand. When the wind grows sharp and wild and the night feels far too long, I press my palm to the window. Hear your voice inside this song. the doorway, lantern gone dark in your hand, salt in the threads of your memory, sanding in the seams of this land. The sea is always waiting, just beyond the valley and the stone. The sea is always waiting for every heart that thought it sailed alone. You trace all the names on the harbor wall, moss where the paint used to be, voices that left with the morning tide, whispers that drift back in sleep. Years come in quiet like evening rain, boats grow smaller each time they leave. You stay and you listen at water's edge, it hums you the promise it keeps. Hush now, my darling, night falls over the foam, lanterns fade on the headland, sea winds carry us home, where the soft tides sleep, where the white gulls glide and the dark waves keep all the worry, all the weary days. I'll lay them down where the soft tides sleep. Salt on your lashes, sand still warm on your skin. Hear that slow, steady breathing, like the world drawing in. If your heart feels heavy, if your thoughts run wild and deep, lay your head on my shoulder, let the turning waters sing you to sleep.
Kettle on the stove, cup cooling in my hands. lantern throwing circles across this quiet sand. I spend my nights just listening to waves. Let them tell the stories I forgot to say, name by name. They called what I once knew. The night the waves remembered me more than I remembered you. Boots by the door, coat on the chair, fog on the window, your shape's still there. Some tides bring driftwood, some bring a storm. This one brought your laughter back, soft and warm. I whispered to the water, it answered like a friend. Said every shore is only where the longing has to end.
On a headland of heather and stone, where the gulls write your name in the foam, I stand with your shawl round my shoulders, counting the waves as they roll. Love is waiting past the water, past the foam and falling shine. I will find you where the sky goes, beyond the far blue line, beyond the far blue line. You sailed with the dawn at your back, with a promise stitched into your cap. Keep faith when the wind turns against you. Look for my light when you're lost. Seasons have folded and faded, fields turn from green into gold. Still when the sun melts the ocean, I feel your hand in the cold. By the bend of the bay where the brown rocks lean, I walk with the salt in my hair. The gulls draw their circles, the day turns green. I kneel where the tide leaves a shining line between all I've lost and I'll be. Lay my palm on the foam, feel your hand on mine as I whisper my dreams to the sea. Oh, the sea keeps my dreams where the sun cannot burn them, where the years cannot turn them to stone. Every wish, every word that the shore never heard in the deep, they are cradled and known. Oh, the sea keeps my dreams, so I'm never alone. I tell her of children not yet in my arms, of a cottage with smoke in the rain, of a lantern that waits, of unfinished yarns, of your boots by the door once again. The waves answer soft with a silver sigh, like a mother who rocks silently, and she pulls all my fears like the moon pulls the tide from my throat, from my heart out to sea. Oh, the sea keeps my dreams where the sun cannot burn them, where the years cannot turn them to stone. Every wish, every word that the shore never heard in the deep, they are cradled and known. Oh, the sea keeps my dreams, so I'm never alone. Someday when my footsteps grow shallow and slow, and my hair takes the color of foam, I will lie by the shore, feel the undertow of the place that remembers my hope. And if ever you stand on this same wet sand, with a sorrow too heavy to speak, close your eyes, let it fall from the shake of your hand. She will carry your dreams to the deep. The tide has taken daylight, left silver on the foam. I stand upon the headland where gulls are circling home. Your name upon the shore wind, your promise in the spray. You said, when blossoms fade, my love, I'll find the turning way. Across the quiet waves I'm waiting, lantern in my hand, heart in the sand. Across the quiet waves I'm singing, soft as the dawn, until you return. The seasons spin like seabirds, their shadows on the blue. The boats come in at evening, but none of them are you. I mend the nets at fireside, I fold your coat with care, each stitch a little prayer I hide and send across the air. Across the quiet waves I'm waiting, lantern in my hand, heart in the sand. Across the quiet waves I'm singing, soft as the dawn, until you return. If storms should rise between us, if stars forget the sky, my love will walk on water where only ghosts can fly. And should my hair turn silver before I see your face, I'll leave my song upon this shore for you to follow home to this place. Down the lane of thrift and clover, past the gate of rusted green, there's a bend I wandered over since my years were barely 3. See pink nods along the edges, white foam breathing at my feet. Every stone remembers footsteps, every turn a heartbeat. Take me back along the coastline where the old path turns to sea. Salt and heather in my hairline, tide and wind remembering me. I have roamed through distant harbors, yet it's there I long to be. Walking slow the worn familiar way my mother walked with me. We would count the distant sailcloth like the sheep upon the hill, skip the puddles in the shale rock, share a crumb My feet still find the hollows by the gorse and elder tree. I grow older, path grows narrower, but it still walks home with me. On the gray stone wall I'm sitting, bare feet brushing, clover wet with dawn, kettle cooling on the window, your old coat still hanging, colors gone. Boats like black ticks on the water, nets all mended, day is sliding in. Mary calls her boys for supper. I stay where I was, like I've always been. I have watched the turning of the tide, pull the years like seaweed from the line. Every wave that reaches for my side brings your name, then rolls it back behind with the turning of the tide. First you miss the autumn feasting, then the frostbit patterns in the pane. Letters stopped like geese in crossing, only gulls kept crying out your name. Harp strings hum like distant rigging, salt still stiffens every Sunday dress. I pressed your promise in my pocket till the cloth wore thin, and there was nothing left with the turning with the turning.